But we begin with this morning with the sobering fact that it's estimated that 1/10 of the homeless population in the United States is actually made up of U.S. military veterans. Now, that's been the reality for Kwame Williams. After 7 years in the Army, the college-educated veteran couldn't find a job upon his return and even ended up in a shelter for veterans.
Things went downhill very quickly for me. I got very depressed, and I found myself in a psych ward.
That is a national disgrace.
That's Congressman Steve Israel. He now says he has a potential game-changing solution for the estimated 50,000 homeless veterans, turning thousands of abandoned or foreclosed zombie homes into homes for veterans. There's already a $25 million grant for this, but Congressman Israel has now introduced legislation to expand the program nationwide. And joining us now to speak about this idea and what needs to be done to help returning vets readjust to civilian life is a Long Island veteran who has dealt with his own housing issues. He is Tim Turane, formerly a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army who served tours of duty in the Middle East, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
First of all, your reaction to the incredible number of veterans who are homeless, and do you think Congressman Israel's proposal could work?
It can work. It's just who's going to pay for it after they're inside the home? And are you going to house veterans that already have jobs? Those are my questions.
These are the twin issues that you dealt with. First of all, you returned and you thought you were going to get help with a rental apartment, but then you ran into some problems with the rules about that. Explain that part of it.
Right. It's like you said, a catch-22. You get an apartment. They try to help you find a place to live. You say, okay, yes, I need help. Then you also got to get a job to pay for that apartment. You know that. However, what happens now, you make $31,200. You're making too much money.
You made slightly more than the maximum.
Than the max you're allowed to
have. So then they pulled back what they were offering you in terms of a subsidy. And what, you couldn't afford the apartment you were looking at that point?
No, we couldn't get it. I wasn't eligible for their program no longer once I received employment.
How much more than the max were you making?
About $200.
$200. So for $200 you couldn't get the help.
Yes.
And of course this is a very expensive place to find housing for. And then you faced a very unfortunate tragedy in which your ex-wife took her own life, and you had to take in your son, and that caused problems with your attempts to go to school. Explain that.
Right. We try to use our GI Bill as best as possible. However, when you withdraw, we incur the same penalties as anybody else that would withdraw if we withdraw, you know, kind of after the withdrawal date.
So you mean you started up at the school, then this happened, this ex-wife of yours taking her life, you had to take in your son, and then what, you had to quit school?
I had to stop going to school, obviously with a big change. Had to still pay school back because I couldn't finish, because you now have to be a full-time parent, a lot of big adjustments.
So you weren't going to school anymore, but you had to pay them back for what, the grants or loans or subsidies that they give you?
Yes, you had to pay back the school, the fees,
So how much was that?
It was a little over $10,000.
Have you paid that back?
Yes.
What's your situation now? Have you been able to find a place? Are you okay financially with this?
Now I'm good. Basically what you've learned in the Army, you kind of apply what you've learned, perseverance, standing up and say, okay, you got knocked down, let's keep moving. All right, you can't cry over it. We're not going to cry over spilled milk. It's not what we do. You figure out ways to adjust. I received employment, you know, pay back the money that I had to pay back, and just had to live within a strong budget.
So you've done that. You've tried to provide for your family. I think most people say you've tried to do all the right things. And here are these programs that are meant for you, but somehow you wind up not helping you. What is the biggest problem with helping veterans who are returning to the U.S.?
The programs are geared towards veterans that are just down in the dumps. Like, you have to be on the street, homeless, dirty, sick, to get the help. And a lot of veterans, we're not homeless, dirty, sick. We're very mature individuals. We fought 2 wars. We know how to stand up straight. We know how to speak. We know how to work. We work hard. So we don't look for handouts. So it's kind of hard for us to be eligible for a lot of these programs because we're not looking for the handout. We're just looking for a fair shot. Yeah,
this has got to be difficult. I imagine there's even perhaps a stigma developing where people think they're being stereotyped as maybe having psychological problems or homeless.
What I found as being a veteran, not only just being a veteran, I'm also I'm a minority. So it was already hard enough to get a job as a black man. So now I'm a black veteran with PTSD. Almost nobody wants to hire you.
What are they? I guess they're afraid maybe you lacked out or something.
Yes, of course.
But supposedly there are all these programs that help you get a job. We always hear about employers that say we hire veterans.
Yeah, there's a lot of those programs out. Veterans go to job fairs all the time, and it's the same employers, and it's the same thing over and over again. The NCO, the non-commissioned officers that join the Army and go up through the ranks from E1 all the way up to E9, are getting overshadowed by the guys that have the bachelor's degrees or come in with bachelor's degrees and things like that. So, of course, they're going to always get the jobs over NCOs and guys that are doing And
of course, that's a syndrome that everybody in life has to deal with.
Yes.
But, these employers get tax subsidies to hire veterans. Do they stick with the veterans once?
I've found that a lot of those programs, they're going to hire the veterans, and then after the time frame where they could get that tax subsidy, then the veteran all of a sudden is let go. So they get the tax write-off, but the veteran loses the job after 9 to 12 months.
Well, we're so disheartened to hear that, and of course there's so many issues here to look into. I understand now, though, that the town of North Hempstead, I'm told they're motivated in great part by your plight, have decided to dedicate a staff person to the needs of veterans. Are you expected to meet with them soon and get some help, and what kind of help are they going to offer you?
Well, we're going to meet with them again. Actually, I'm going to help and consult with them, with Gail directly.
To help them figure out how to help
exactly what the veterans actually need, as opposed to assuming that this is what they want. Because there's a lot of things that we need. I saw a story, it was back in the 40s, about toys, and the guy said it was an innovative at the time, and it said, well, the company said, let's ask the kids what they want. And that's all you got to do, is ask the veteran what they want instead of assuming what we need.
Well, Staff Sergeant Tim Turane, thanks for coming in and talking about what's become a difficult problem for our nation and trying to figure out how to reincorporate veterans who serve this country. Thank you for your service, and hopefully you'll get all the help that you deserve.
Thank you.